What up, dude? Welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's your man, Curt. Still on today's show, we look at realistic expectations for Aiden Hutchinson for the 2025 season. Do the channel a quick favor, like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're on our way to 3,000 subscribers, and currently sit at 2832. Hey, I got to give a special shout out to our channel members, man. Let's go ahead and put them jokers up on the screen. You got my man T-Bone Locks, Sean Bird. I've seen him in the comments already. Lauren Vander Esch, my man Britt DeWitt, and Mary Smith. I know you had a little trouble over there on the online Talk Live. Hopefully, we're not going to try to repeat that here on this show. Hey, if you're new to the channel and you don't know how our show works, we look at Detroit Lions news, headlines, and takes. If we agree, we say they are bossed up with a big blade dance. If we disagree, we say they are balled on. No hot takes here. But for live shows, we'll do a little differently. I want you to put hashtag bossed up in the chat section. If you agree, hashtag balled on. Tell us why you agree or disagree. We'll put those things on the screen and we can talk about them together. And it's time to bring in my special guest today. It's my man, the big fella from over there across the pond, Anthony from Royal Lions UK. Good morning, my guy.
Hey, good morning, Curt. Hope you're doing really well. Been a little while, but always good to come and talk Lions ball with you.
Yeah, man, it's always good to have my man, the Brit with grit, is in the building, man. You see how big he is. You see that little ass cup, man. That's a big fella right there, man. He's a big dude. Today, man, we've all kind of seen that. The first thing we're going to talk about is my man Aiden Hutchinson. We saw it. If you didn't see the presser yesterday, it was pretty good. He said he's healthy. He's fully ready to go. He's fully cleared to continue the activities. Just to give you a brief backstory. I've seen those videos of him working back his way from injury on social media. He announced in his pre-OTA media session that he is fully medically cleared, stating, "Hey, I got cleared a while back. I'm just rolling with the boys now." And he also said, quote, and it feels like I'm back to being myself again. Hutch is expected to participate fully in the Lions team activities that start on the 28th. He says, again, I quote, "I really looking forward to the season. I think it's the most excited I've been for OTAs in my life." Hutch also said it's the biggest hiatus I've had without playing ball. So I'm pumped. So having Hutchinson around for the whole offseason is huge win for the Lions. Before he got hurt, he racked up an impressive 7.5 sacks last season in just 4.5 games. Was leading the pack in the league for sacks. Even after missing the last 12 games, the dude still had 3.5 more sacks than anyone else on the Lions for the year. And that put him at a top of 36 for all defenders in the NFL at 7.5, which shows just how much of an impact Hutch has on the field. Now, it's not easy to come back from that injury that Hutch suffered against the Cowboys last year on the play where he suffered a broken tibia and fibula and still sacked Dak Prescott. My man still got him on the ground. The question is what to expect from Hutch in 2025. Will he pick up where he left off and have a monster season? Or will his sack numbers go down as he continues to gain strength in that leg? Is he a comeback player of the year candidate, or is he a setback player of the year candidate? Give me your sack totals and predictions for Hutch this season. I'm gonna put them in the comment. But first, I got to go to my man Ant-Man to see what are your expectations for Aiden Hutchinson for this season.
It's really tough regarding Hutch, as you've mentioned, the severity of the injury. It's something that he might not be able to come back off straight away, and it might take him some time to get going. But then at the same point, this team has been so lackadaisical in trying to get any more support here at the edge position. They've really not done a great deal, and they've shown no urgency to try and bolster that, because primarily we have Hutch. We have one of the best edge rushers in the league. So, why overspend and put too much else there? But if he's going to be rehabbing for quite a while and we're not going to see the best version of him for quite a while, then it's hard. Like, we need him to hit the ground running, quite frankly, because that first slate of games, obviously, You come back against Green Bay and Chicago. They both field day 3 picks at left tackle. Like the standard of the opposition is not the highest. You would hope that he's going to be able to have some success immediately on coming back. But then, we've got 3 rotten road trips in 4 weeks, going to Cincy, going to Kansas, going to Baltimore. These are big games for us. And, you can't afford to fall behind in the season. These are games that we need to win, that we need to be competitive in. And as Hutch will be a big deciding factor on how competitive we're going to be during these games, especially when it comes to getting to some of these mobile quarterbacks we're going to be up against. So it's tough. I mean, for me, he's probably going to take a bit of time to get back into it. I think if you're talking sack totals and that, you'd probably be happy somewhere in the low, 11, 12, something like that, 10, 11, 12, whatever, because it's going to take time. But in terms of us being a Super Bowl team with our window open right now, we need him to get back immediately to what he was before, because we've just simply not put in enough effort to help him. And I guess what we need from him will be defined by what we get from everybody else. If someone else does finally step up and take a bit of a load off, he can be an 11, 12 sack guy and we'll be fine. But if not, they're all going to be injured, hurt, inconsistent again. We'll need him to be a 15, 16, 17 sack guy and more. But I'm going to err on the lower side for now because it's just a serious injury and you've got to be careful coming back from those. And we don't want him to hurt himself long term. But it's going to be interesting to see because, it's a tough start to the season. And ideally, we want him good right away.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Put your sack totals in the chat. We'll put them up on the screen. And my man Attila the Hun says 17 sacks for the big fella. Now it's not like Hutch hasn't came back from an injury, a similar injury. He had a broken bone in his leg, and at the University of Michigan came back, had a monster season the next year. So it's not totally impossible for him to have a monster season and him to be a defensive player of the year or a comeback player of the year candidate. And the way his work ethic is, I believe that he can do that. And you've seen him. I mean, we've seen the videos of him working out, man, and we still have a ways to go till the season starts. I mean, we're still in May. We don't start playing significant games until another few months. So I think he has enough time to, I won't say be 100%, but I think he's got a chance to be about 90-95% by the time the season starts. I think he'll work his way back up to 100 by the middle of the season. And I think, but 90-95% of a player like Aiden Hutchinson is 100% of a lot of other players. So, what are my sack totals for him? My expectations for him. I think my expectations for him are probably around 14 to 15 sacks this year. I think that's where we're at that mid. I don't think he'll quite get 20 or 19, but I think he won't be far from it. If you can, get what I'm saying. So, 14, 15 sacks. That's what I think. Let's go to the family to see what they say. Who my man Britt DeWitt's in the remember they played Chicago twice. That's 10 sacks right there on Caleb. yeah, that dude holds the ball, man. And what's his name? Ben Johnson's already complaining about him holding the ball too long in practice. Definitely. Britt DeWitt says compare with the comeback player of the year, defensive player of the year, both. I think they can. He said Hutch 15 to 17 sacks. I got you. Definitely. Let's kind of get back
He's
up into
favorite to win it, isn't he? He's favorite to win it, isn't he?
I think Vegas has him right now. Favors as to win the comeback player of the year. You look at that at him, man. He was on pace to be the defensive player of the year easy last year. I think he would have walked away with it. Oh
God, absolutely. There's no shadow of a doubt there. And I think with 4 preseason games this year, this is a hot take, but I want to see him in preseason if you're going to roll him out there.
Yeah, I think it would be nice.
If you really want to test that leg out, as Dan says, you only get that from live reps. And I think that, if he's going to go out there, we need to see him in the preseason. No wrapping him up in cotton wool and just sending him out there, because playing in the NFL, it's completely different to playing in pads. So I want to see him out there in the preseason if he's healthy.
Definitely. Hey man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans like yourself. The Boss Up Ball Out merch shop is now available, man. Hit the link in the description or on the homepage of the channel. Put the code in Boss Up Ball Out 10 at checkout to get when you spend $45, you get 10% off an item. Definitely. And if you're a channel member, I've said it, of course, it's in the community tab for the channel members. It's only for them. You get 15% off your order if you become a channel member. So go check out the Boss Up Ball Out merch shop. All right. So moving on to our next topic, because there's something that I want to talk about. And it's just kind of irritating to see some of these talking heads talking about the Lions right now. And it says, well, will MCDC prove that he's a top tier NFL head coach this season? And the reason being is that there are a bunch of talking heads in the NFL media predicting the Lions will take a step back this season. Some say it's the tough schedule. Others say that the teams in the NFC North has gotten better. However, the loudest sentiment is that the Lions will not be the same after losing both their coordinators to head coaching positions. Even louder between that is that the Lions office is going to suffer a setback with Ben Johnson going to Chicago. I don't know these guys. I don't know if they watch Lions football or not, or know who the hell the Lions are. But coaches on his staff said that Dan Campbell is more than just the quotes and the inspirational speeches, which is are famous for. They've said that MCDC has a brilliant football mind. We all know the goofball meathead who talked about biting kneecaps in his opening press conference, and the dude that put on the racing helmet after being named the Grand Marshal for the Detroit Grand Prix. But during a recent media session, special teams coordinator Dave Phipp let it be known just how smart Dan Campbell is when he said, and I quote, "I don't think it comes across, which is why I say it all the time, but just how brilliant he is." Phipp said last week, I mean, he's super smart. He likes to be tough and gruff and grit and all the attitude and all that stuff. But the man is very, very thorough and very, very smart and very calculated on everything that he does. Like that quote. This year, MCDC has a perfect opportunity to put himself in the elite category of NFL coaches by winning a third straight division title en route to a Super Bowl appearance. So, my man, Ant, and I'm going to kick it to you guys as well. Can Dan Campbell prove that he's a top tier coach this year?
Oh, I had a big rant about this on Twitter the other day, specifically in regards to the Ben Johnson stuff. I mean, Dan, again, you're right. Anyone who thinks Dan's going to struggle this year and we're just going to regress has no idea what this team is about. They have no idea how it's been built, no idea how this foundation's been put in, how the culture's been put in. To suggest that it's so fragile that it can't withstand the loss of a coordinator is not just an insult to Dan, it's an insult to our players. All these, I think it was Dan Orlovsky who said it that really triggered me about it, but it's just like, oh, it's so detail orientated. It's so complex. They're not going to be as good next year. And you're like, well, okay, you might think that's about the coordinator, but what you're saying is that our players are morons. Our players are not capable of dealing with a coaching change. Our players are not capable. They were having their hands held by Ben Johnson. He was the one doing all the work for them. He was walking them to school. They were just falling in line and being good little children, as it were. And it's not true. To run a system that's so complex, you could be the most detail-orientated, complex coach, coordinator in the world. If you don't have the players who can execute that, you are going to get fired after 12 months and be looked upon as a terrible coach because whatever you planned did not work. It takes the players as much as the coordinator for these things to work. We know our players are dedicated. We know our players work harder than anybody else. We know that when it comes to the details of plays and the execution of plays, that's them, not their coordinator. That's them putting all this together. There's no reason that they can't go out there and do the same under a new coordinator. He's not going to change that much. We've got a lot in our arsenal already. The players have been here, done that. They know what they're doing. There are 6 All-Pros in this offense, and you're saying that it was their coordinator that was babysitting them. No, I'm sorry. That's just disrespectful. Don't care how you're trying to frame it. you know, you are disrespecting our players and what they're all about. And it's the same with the defense. It's going to be a drop-off. You know, our defensive coordinator, we've molded in-house. That is something that's lauded around the league, where people go, oh, look at these guys. They're building their staff in-house. They're bringing these new guys to the fore. But because it's the Lions and because it's Kelvin Shepherd, they're going to take a step backwards. And they're not. And who found our guys in the first place? No one gave Aaron Glenn a job as a DC before Dan Campbell came into the league. No one gave Ben Johnson a job that was major before Dan Campbell came into the league. He saw Ben's potential, kept him on, one of only 2 members of staff he kept on from the last regime, and, you know, promoted him to pass game coordinator at the end of that first year when Anthony Lynn went, promoted him again. Dan recognizes talent, and that's one of his biggest strengths. He knows his weaknesses. He knows, you know, where he's not so good. And so he builds his staff around that. That is the signal caller of a great head coach, not one who thinks he can do everything and has to be the mastermind behind everything. Dan knows his limitations and brings people in who can boost where he's not good. And that's what he's done again this time. So I don't expect to see a drop-off from the team. I mean, you might see initially while schemes are getting involved, you know, and plus we play to such a high level that even playing great is a drop-off for us, you know. So I'm not going to be too overtly concerned about it. Dan's just shown again and again and again that he adapts to his situation, understands his role, understands his limitations, and he keeps adapting. He's put together one of the most sought-after coaching staffs in the league, and all our competitors are going, well, it's the coaches themselves who are so great, not Dan. Who gave them jobs in the first place? Who did it in the first place? We never hire from within to get our new coaches. And we have a farm system now with lots of great candidates in there, and Dan has helped find them all. So, you know, this idea that he's lost his safety net now and he's going to sink is just ridiculous. He's just going to create himself a new one. He's going to continue to soar. And anyone who doesn't watch this team properly, you will soon find out. All these talking heads, as you say, they're just looking at the name recognition of the brand. None of them cared about Ben Johnson a couple of years ago. None of them cared about Aaron Glenn a couple of years ago because they didn't know about them. Dan did. And it'll just be the same again going forward.
It definitely. I mean, you look at the guys that he added in the offseason. You look at John Morton, who was the architect of Ben Johnson's offense. He taught him that offense. He installed it before he left. And Ben Johnson went in and tweaked that offense. So you look at it, and then you have a guy like David Shaw who's coming over. We all know the offensive top to be the over the passing game. We know what type of offensive mind that guy is, man. He brings a staff that's top tier. I mean, these are the type of guys that he brings in. And then you look at Kelvin Shepherd, like you said, this guy, homegrown, a guy who's going to kind of keep what we have in place and then add his own stamp to it. And I just don't see it being I'm like, how are you going to drop off, man? Dan Campbell. And the thing is that Campbell's in charge without having to say he's in charge. If you can get what I'm saying, like his presence earns the respect. He runs the team. He may give some guys some autonomy, but no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is Dan Campbell's staff, and he runs this team, and he's proven how good of a coach he's been the last few years to go from 3-13-1 to back-to-back division titles and finishing with a 15-2 record in a regular season, despite all the injuries that happened last year. I mean, we can give Aaron Glenn all his credit he deserves because he deserves it, and Ben Johnson, he deserves it. But Dan Campbell needs to get the credit he deserves because he's more than just all the quotes and all that, all the inspirational jargon he gives to the players and to the fan base. But he's a hell of a coach, and he's a very smart individual, man. He plays the role well of being a meathead. But I got my Go Forward shirt on, my Dan Campbell shirt. But I love what I'm seeing from Dan Campbell, man, and he just continues to build a solid staff. I have to agree with you 100%. Let's see what they're saying in the chat. What up, Hooks, Rocky? Okay, people saying good morning. My man Dan's in the house, man, from Lion Talk Live. Woo, man! Hey, shout out to my man Dan over there at Lion Talk Live, man. And for whoever threatened Dan the other day, shame on you, man. There's no reason for This is Lions YouTube, man. Why are you threatening this? Where are you threatening somebody's life, man? Don't do that for a take, and it wasn't even a hot take. Like for having an opinion, you're gonna threaten someone's life for having an opinion. You're absolutely crazy for that, man. We got your back, man. Dan, we got you, man. We're gonna rock with you, man. Lady Lion, boss up, Anthony, of course. I think Mahogany blows the fans' mind this season. You know what? I agree with you. I'm very high on Christian Mahogany. What about you, Ant?
Yeah, no, I'm really big. I hope they give him the left guard job this year. I hope he earns it. Because I thought he looked good in his limited role last year, and we want these guys to come through, especially 6th round picks. That's great for the cap situation to get starters under contract for years in the team to be able to alleviate the burden of all these big contracts we're going to have on here. So, and I hope Rattledge's arrival is not going to impact that. That would be my concern, having 2 guards on the, drafted him, but, so I think he's great. I love the system he comes from. I love the team he comes from. Those Boston College guys are technical freaks, man. They're just NFL born and bred. So I'm looking forward to seeing him this year. I think this time next year, he'll be the starting left guard. For a long time.
I think so as well. All right. What up, Lieutenant Dan in the chat? Brent DeWeet said, "Boss up, Anthony." Okay. Ben Johnson reminds me of Mike Martz. Really hot name as a coordinator, but flame out as a AC. Yeah, we know that in Detroit all too well, man. Brought him in to try to be the head coach, and that did not last very long at all. All right. Season 2 of Dirtbag. He's going to be fired. Our resident Bears fan, Broski Bears in the building. He says Ben's the best OC ever. It was really all Dan. It was really Johnny Morton on the line, man. Really drink that dirty Flint Kool-Aid. First of all, stay off my city, Broski. That's not funny. People got affected. People lost their lives in that Flint water crisis. So don't go there. Stay off my city, homie. Ben Johnson. And here's my thoughts on Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson is a good coach. I'll say that 100%. I think he's a good coach. I think he was a really good coach, a really good offensive coordinator. I don't see him as a leader of men. Like, I don't see that in Ben Johnson. Like, I don't look at him and say I trust him to lead my team. I just don't. Like, I think he's a better coordinator. You guys are gonna find out the hard way down there in Chicago. That's just me. All right, what up, dude? Okay, what's up, man? Jay Cruz, man. Broski, Broski has his own opinion, man. What's going on with you?
He's probably bored of listening to Ben slag off Caleb already, so
Yeah, because Ben's already complaining about him already.
And again, to quickly go back to the thing with Ben and Dan, it's not that people are so sensitive over here, but it's like when people tell outright lies, like the first season when Dan Campbell took over play calling. Ben Johnson was not the OC at the end of that first year.
No, it was not.
He was pass game coordinator. People go, "Oh no, he turned it around that year." No, that was Dan. Dan was calling the plays. Dan was calling the shots there. Ben got a promotion to pass game coordinator. That was it. And he's not got no Hank Fraley there either, giving him one of the best offensive lines in the league. Coordinator's as good as the staff around him, and he's a good coordinator. Do not get me wrong, but Chicago, that offensive line's grim. It has been for a long time. And yes, you've spent a lot of money in free agency to fix it, but is it going to be as complex? Are they going to be as good? Are they going to run what Hank's been able to teach them here? His system doesn't work if his quarterback's getting chased all over the field. So
that's very true.
It's not that. It's just taking 100% credit, saying Ben did 100% of everything. It was so disingenuous to the coaches, to the players, to the head coach. There's a fine balance to be had in there somewhere. We recognize what he did here, but he didn't do everything.
Yeah, no, he did not. Hey, man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself. Hey, the Boss Up Ball Out podcast is sponsored by Dubby Energy Drink, man. Packed with brain-boosting amino acids and vitamins with no sugar. It gets you pumped for tackling your daily tasks, man. Try that new s'mores flavor. It's around $1 per drink. It's a great alternative to coffee or canned beverages with no crashes or jitters or anxiety, man. Check out the link in the division. Check out the video description for the link to buy Dubby. Use the code BossUpBall10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Power your day with Dubby. Now, the last topic we got, man, we gotta have some rookie updates, man. This is a very, what do you call that? Popular around the league draft class for the Detroit Lions, man. The Detroit Lions just locked in my man Tyleik Williams, the first round draft pick, to his first contract, signed on the dotted line just a day after Islet Tesla signed his deal. We got Williams at defensive tackle out of Ohio State, man. He's making some noise in the OTAs. He's working his way in. When he's in there, he's making some noise. Contract $16.4 million according to the contract. Rookie scale includes an $8.6 million signing bonus, which is fully guaranteed, plus a fifth-year team option. Which teams usually, like we just saw the Lions pick up the fifth-year option on Hutch and JMO from that same, because they're in the same draft class, of course. With that, the Lions have signed all of their draft picks except for Tate Ratledge. We can probably see that probably in the next couple of days as it gets done, especially before OTA start next week. So I think we'll have that done. And then the next thing I want to say, man, is Lions Brooklyn. Like I said, Isaac Tesla is making waves, man, letting everyone know it's FTP all day in this house, man. He's quickly becoming a Lions fan favorite. And on the recent episode of the St. Brown Brothers podcast, he didn't hold back while chatting with his new teammate Amon-Ra St. Brown and his brother Equanimous. When they kicked off a conversation about the NFC North, Tesla said, hey, he didn't shy away from expressing his hate for the Green Bay Packers. He says, when it comes from his roots as a Lions fan in Grand Rapids, I hate the Packers with a burning passion. And then Equanimous said, I'm a Packers guy. And he's talking about his loyalty to the Packers. That's where he was drafted. And he was like, I know, I still hate him. So I'm liking this dude more and more more and more we hear from this young fella, Isaac Tesla, man. So what do you think about my man Tesla being, that Packers hater? He's an FTP like the rest of us.
I know it's always fun to see the players having a bit of fun and been like the rest of us, because we all like to trash talk a little bit, don't we? So it's all fun with the rookies. I mean, it's interesting. I'm obviously, we wait till training camp and comes and they get into the real business end of the year. I just hope that the rookies are allowed to be rookies this year. And by what I mean by that is, especially with the likes of when Tesla was drafted, myself included, there was a lot of blowback about the amount that was given up for him and that. But as sort of a counter reaction to that, there has been a crazy amount of hype around him. People trying to build him up. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. He's going to be JMO's replacement. He's going to be, and the level of hype is so huge over him, which I think is disingenuous. I think it's not fair to him. It's just people trying to clap back on how much we gave for him. With Hassanin as well, everyone loves him, and he's saying all the right things, and he sure acts like a Lions player and that. But he's a 6th round pick at the end of the day, and the expectations he's getting built up because he's got this friendly personality, this character. And I don't want it to get to the season where they come into the season and then they struggle initially, or they have growing pains. And then people turn on them because they've had unfair expectations put on their shoulders. And I say this because of last year. Who did we draft at the start of last year? Terry and Arnold. We've been begging for a corner for years. A lockdown corner. He's speedy. He's athletic. He's going to be the lockdown guy, the man who can stay on an island. A month into the season, beat writers were saying bench his ass. People were saying he was a bust. People were really nasty towards him, because all that hype that had been built up about him all over the summer didn't come in right away as a rookie, and everyone turned on him. And it was disgraceful, quite frankly. And I'm just worried that our rookies are not now been allowed to be rookies anymore, because we've had so much success with guys early on and that they're now getting put way too far under a microscope, and they're getting unfairly judged so quickly about things. And You know, it's great to see them embracing this and happy and that. But at the end of the day, I want them to be able to knuckle down, work hard. I mean, there's a noticeable. Do you not notice a discernible difference between the rookies now and the rookies when they first started coming here under Dan Campbell? Like Amon-Ra didn't want to come here. Guys were like, we're going to knuckle down, we're going to work hard, we're going to be great, you know, we're going to do this. Now they're like, oh, we're so grateful to be here. We've been Lions fans for a lot. The mentality is changing with these guys, and, you know, we're kind of eating into it. I just want the expectations to stay low for them.
Yeah.
I like them as people. They seem really good and really what they're all about, but I'm just worried that people are going to build them on pedestals. It's not going to hit right away because we're in a Super Bowl window. We need high-level play. A lot of these guys we don't want in right away. Even Tyleek, you want to build him in.
Right.
I just don't want to see what happened to Terrion last year. That's what's concerning me with this class right now, because I think people are going too overboard with some of this stuff. But as for the players themselves, I do love the attitude. I just want them to be given room to grow away from this spotlight and stupid articles saying they're busts and all this rubbish.
Yeah, definitely. I just like to see the young player out there having fun, man. Out there with his, you know, with his new teammate having fun, man. And of course, we're FCP all day right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, man. Y'all know how we get down, man. It is that time, man. We do old school dominoes here on our live shows, man. It's 30 minutes or less, just like the and it's always free here, but unlike the pizza, if you get it within 30 minutes. But of course, I need you to do something, man. Go ahead and follow the crew on your favorite social media platforms. Coach Jones does a great job with his Wolverine Sports Talk and doing shorts on this channel. I post content from this show on all of my social media platforms. And man, my man LL Cool Torrance, you know, he was in the building earlier. Make sure you follow him as well. All right, my man Andy, please tell the crew where they can find you and your content.
You can find me at Roar of the Lions UK. We're a Detroit Lions podcast from across the pond. A group of us over here in Britain, very, very passionate about the Lions. You'll find us chatting about them all the time. So if you want to come and hear your Lions news and views from a British perspective, then come hang out with us. We're live on Mondays. I got college ball on Wednesdays. If you like college ball, you know, we're live during the games. So drop by, say hi. But yeah, you can find me at Roar of the Lions UK, and you can find Broski Bears NFL team at the bottom of the NFC North, as you have for the last 4 years. So they're easy to find as well.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to our resident Bears fan who, you know, used to losing and try to spread that losing mentality throughout the shows he watches for the Detroit Lions, man. Thank you guys for tuning in right here on the Boss Up All Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. Please, man, if you're having a good day, man, thank you for hanging out on this Feel Good Friday. If you're having a good day, make sure you spread that joy. If you're not having a good day, don't steal anyone else's joy. And do your man Curt still a favor. Whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man Aiden from Roar of the Lions UK, this is Curt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.